Wake up, America! Wake up, America! We hear that over and over again. It seems to be a meme. Does everyone know what a meme is? Okay, for those of you who may not, a meme is something that culturally, it seems to kind of spread. It can be a saying, it could be a behavior. And so Wake Up America is one of those. Think of the old time where it was like, where's the beef? Remember that? That was also another meme. And it could mean several things, as we know. So the same thing with Wake Up America. If I'm very conservative, Wake Up America could mean all of these immigrants are taking jobs that we need. Wake up, America. If I'm on the liberal aspect, it could mean all of our constitutional rights are being eroded one by one. Wake up, America. If I'm an evangelical minister, I'll be preaching today. No. But it would mean you have to be saved. Otherwise, this is what's happening in the world. Wake up, America. And then if I'm on the Islamic side, I'd be, Islam is love. Wake up, America. So Wake Up America has come to mean so many different things for so many different people, but we all say it to one extreme or another. Wake up, America. So then it's like, well, what's fact? What's fact? And then I hear this thing called the fake news, right? Everybody's talking, fake news, watch out for the fake news. So at first I thought, oh, this is probably like a marketing spin. You know, we use statistics and we spin things. And then I realized, oh, no, it's not even truth, right, at all. So then the question comes up, what is truth? What is truth? The dictionary says that truth is something that is in accordance with something that is fact or reality. Fact or reality. It can also mean that it is a belief that we have accepted as truth. Okay? Everyone can go with that so far? All right. And then we have absolute truth and your truth, right? We call it the capital T truth or the little t truth. So the capital T, the absolute truth, is what we believe is unchangeable. It's fixed. It can't be altered. That's the capital T truth. And then your truth, which is based in this reality, in this realm, can it be changed? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because what do we know? Anything in this realm is temporary, impermanent. That's right. So your truth. So I thought, well, you know, we've got Jay's book that we're going to do a book study, and so I'm going to link it together as a tool. And so we're going to use that as a tool. So we had a book study this morning that we started with Lean Inside, and it was a nice turnout, a good conversation. But what I liked about this is that he talks about the purpose of his book. The purpose is about awakening to the concept that we can create whatever lives that we want. The reality that you are loved, as well as that the spiritual journey that we're on is all about progress. All about progress. And I thought, oh, that's really cool. I mean, I talk this talk a lot. Sounds good. So who is Jay? Besides being a congregant for a long time here at Unity, he's also an author, he's a coach, he is a leader in the transgender movement, and his level of authenticity in willingness to describe the depths of his despair all the way to the joy of his successes, you don't get many people that are willing to do that. That's real. We love that. So, he says this about, did I skip him? I did. His quote that I really liked is, what's his work? It's to assist you in the practical application of what the field of personal and spiritual development has to say about how much power we have over our experiences of our lives. We're talking about practical spirituality, my friends. I don't know about you, but Reverend Sherrie talks about practical spirituality almost every week. Almost. So we talked about truth. I started off with what is truth? And we said truth is based in reality. Well, then what is reality? Well, according to this quote that Jay has in his book from Sean Acker, The Happiness Advantage, he says this: reality is merely our brain's relative understanding of the world based on where and how we are observing it. Most important, we can change this perspective at any moment. By doing so, change our experience of the world around us. Change our experience of the world around us. That is possible. That our reality can change. That it's not static. That who I say I am today is going to look a little different a couple of weeks from now. Now, the core of who I am will probably be the same, but my reality is going to look different. Do you believe that? Yeah, we talk that, don't we? We talk that we can change our reality and change our lives through our thoughts, through our words, through our feelings, through our emotions, through our behaviors. So we have a tool. Another tool that Jay talks about that we can use is asking this question: why am I creating it to look this way? Why am I creating this situation, this life experience, to look this way? It's a powerful question to ask ourselves because there's freedom in that. Freedom to know that we have power over the given situation. Freedom to know that at this very moment, I can change that because I'm a creator. Because I can change that by looking at my perception of that. So I'll give you an example. I belong to an organization that I have loved for years. And as this organization has grown, what I've noticed is they're not necessarily walking their talk. And so it aggrieves me. And I was having such severe angst over this because in my belief, they're out of integrity. And so all the things that I was talking about was, if they would do X, if they would do Y, then they would be in integrity. So that sounds good up here, right? But what's going on underneath? What's going on underneath for me is, my perception is that they're wrong. The other deeper piece of that is, I want them to change so I can stay. I want them to change so that I can stay. That's powerful awareness, and there's a freedom in that because now I don't have to be going around bad-mouthing them to people about how out of integrity they are. Hello, speak to myself. How out of integrity I am in wanting them to change so that I can stay, so that I can be a part of. So that's just a small example of how we can shift our perception so that we change our reality. So I am no longer in angst or in resistance or conflict with them. I see them as an organization that believes they are doing the best that they can and giving me what I need. That's their belief. That may not be true for me, but that is their belief, and that's okay. See the difference? No, that was not rhetorical, people. You know me. What this does, though, is it allows us to respond as opposed to react. Respond as opposed to react. When I am in that alignment, I'm able to respond. When am I reactive? When are you reactive? When I'm judgmental, that's right. I know I am. When else? Yepers, my amygdala's been hijacked. So you may have heard this regularly about the amygdala hijack, right? It's that part of our brain that we needed for survival in the years of saber-toothed tigers and preservation. And dinosaurs, you got that right, Emmett. And dinosaurs. That's right. Thank you for that example. That was right on. He's right on, Mom and Dad. He's right on. So that same function happens today because it's part of our system. It's part of our limbic system. It's part of how our body works. And so things that happen when they don't feel right for us, we can get hijacked. And when we get hijacked, our system gets flushed with adrenaline and cortisol. And what that does is it kind of bypasses the frontal lobe area, which we use for a lot of our reasoning. So Jay has this wonderful technique that he talks about, which is, so when that happens, shut your mouth. That's what he says. When that happens, just shut your mouth. Now, my slightly nicer version is, hit the pause button, right? Hit the pause button and breathe. Because whatever you're going to say at that moment that you're hijacked is not for your highest self and not for their highest good. And when you hit that pause button, it allows you to breathe. It allows you to allow all that chemical stuff that's been going on in your body to dissipate. It allows your prefrontal lobe to then engage again. And voila, you're back. All right? But once you're hijacked, you're not going to be able to do that. The other thing he talks about in there, which I love, I didn't know that he uses that same BS that I did. So that was really interesting when I started reading his book. I was like, I thought I was the only one that used that. But I'm not. And that's okay. So BS for belief system. And I love the quote that he uses there, which is, a belief is just something you have told yourself over and over and over. We go to war over beliefs. We kill each other over beliefs. We do damage to ourselves over beliefs. And yet, we forget that we have the power to change that belief, to change the world so that it aligns with what we want. So there's this wonderful clip, I had to have one, that I want to show you about our beliefs and are they changeable? So take a moment. So at any moment, you can change what's happening in your life. At any moment, there's that possibility for you to shift. At any moment, right now. If you're here and you're like, I don't like listening to Rev Sherrie, you can change that. Yes, you can. At any moment. All right. So let's look at what I like to call energetic awareness. And Jay wrote in his book about those three things. What's your focus? We know here in Unity, what do we know? Whatever we focus on expands, right? It becomes larger. So what are you focusing on in your mind? What words are coming out of your mouth? Is it the not enoughness? Well, guess what? It'll be not enough. What are you focusing on? The other thing that he talks about there is attachment. And I mentioned that, I think, last week about attachment, that the suffering comes with our inability to let go, our attachment to what is, our attachment to the outcome. That's where the suffering lies. So if we have the ability to let go and know that everything is temporary, that's where the power is. And then I like this last one. Where is the resistance? Because we know whatever we resist, right, persists. But the piece that I like there is, where do you feel it? Where do you feel it? So for me, whenever I know that I'm starting to have resistance, my solar plexus is where it happens. And it gets this kind of like wonky wave starts to happen there. Now, this is a wonderful key. Because once that starts happening in me, I know, oh, something's up. Pay attention. What's going on? And I can tell you this recently happened. A gentleman who lives around the neighborhood here, he came in to visit me, and it was his second time coming in. He used the word sue, I don't know how many times in that one conversation with me. Not that I'd want to sue you, but, you could be sued for that house being used not for for residential purposes. So, he kept going, and I felt that, like, these are my people now. Mama Bear's going to come out on your butt. You don't want that to happen, right? So I felt that, and I felt myself hunching over to and when I felt that, I breathed. And my posture changed, and I relaxed back, I put my arms out, and I said nothing. And I allowed him to finish his conversation, okay? Now, I woke up at 4 in the morning the next day. Well, I should have told him this, and why didn't I tell him that? I should have told him, do you know when you use that word what it does to people? I could have done all of that, right? But the power is that I would not have had the capacity at that point to be of any use, to be of any grace, to be modeling my Christ-like presence. So the best thing for me to have done in that place is to allow him to say what he needed to say. And that's okay. With me? So that's a really big key, and I key into it quite regularly. Okay. Pema Chodron. Nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. It just keeps returning with new names, new forms, manifestations, until it has taught us what we need to know. And that's a lovely quote that Jay uses in his book. So I'm going to invite you to tune in this week, to tune in to wherever that resistance comes in your body. Yours may be different. Yours may be a tightness of the chest. Yours may be a cramp in your tummy. Whatever it is, find it and tune into it so that over the next week you can look at times where you can feel that resistance coming, the possibility of a hijack coming, and you can breathe and press the pause button. So I invite you to do that this week.